So in Claude Core work, it's always better to start with projects. I would recommend you, if you want to start any kind of project or something like a task or something, and let's say you are going to continue it for a few days or a few weeks or whatever it is, I would always recommend you to start with a project. If it's just one time off thing, don't have to worry about it. You can just go with this one chat option. But if you are going to repeat it more than a day, something like that, I would always recommend you to start with a project. And also, let's say you want Cloud Code to behave in a certain way, like repeatable behavior, right? So that is a one trigger point. And then second one, you want it to be isolated from other tasks or other projects, right? You don't want this one particular behavior to affect the other ones. So that's another trigger point. And then you have certain documents, like bunch of documents, for example, agreements, PDFs, doc files, all these things that needs to be referred whenever Claude is doing that particular project, right? This is another trigger point that you want to keep all these documents into one folder, right? And then you want all your conversations history to compound all your conversation regarding a project. Let's say you discuss some ideas or you are asking doubts and coming up with some decisions, all these things, it should just pile up, right? And all these conversations that are related to one particular project should be isolated from others. I would say if you want the best outcome, you must use project. I will create a project here. Let's say this is project A. Here is our Claude Code. He is going to have access to project's instructions. Here, this is where we are going to define, hey Claude, you are going to behave like a YouTube script writer or something like that. We are going to give some behavior, a tone, the way it responds, some restrictions, how it should behave and how it shouldn't behave, all those stuffs. And then we are going to have files here, agreements, docs, PDFs, anything, any kind of resources that are related to the project, like a reference document. And then we are going to have memory. That means whatever that we are discussing with Cloud Code, it's going to be here inside it, right? And also we are going to have automations, schedule task. So now when you put all these things inside a project A, this is not going to affect in any way to project B. Let's say when Cloud Code comes here, he will have different instructions, right? Let me change the color here. Now he is going to have different instruction. He will have different files, a different memory. All these things are different. So whatever that is happening in project A is not going to affect project B. But still, whenever the Cloud Code enters the project A, it will just behave the way we want. Same here also. When it goes to project B, it behaves in the way we want. In this way, we are customizing all these outputs that Claude is going to give. At the same time, we are not going to mix up things between the projects, right? For example, this project A might be something like you are creating a CRM. And then project B might be mobile app development. So both of these things are different, but there are set of real rules you need to give and all these things, but you don't want to mix it up. So this is a perfect candidate for you to create projects. This is the basic theory behind it. But now let's just see how to create project. For that, now let's move to our desktop app here. So now go to your Claude desktop app, go to core work, and here on the left hand side, you can see projects. Here you create a new project. Let's say if you already have a project, you can import it. If you want to use an existing folder, you can use it here. I'll just show it to you by starting from scratch. So here you're going to give name, let's say CRM or project A, anything like that. And here you are going to give some instructions, right? So you are a senior content creator and you are an expert in creating YouTube script, right? I'm just giving two-line instruction now just to show you as an example, but you have to give more explicit instructions, just like normal prompting technique, right? And then you can add some files here. It could be any kind of files, PDFs, words, pictures, everything works. Whatever that is related to the project, add it here as a resource. And then we are creating it. Now we have created our project. You can see from here. So whenever we are going to work next time, we should always start. For example, now here, I'm selecting the new task, right? Here, you can see an option here to select work in a project. Now, when I click that, I can see the project I'm having. When you have multiple projects, you are going to see all your projects here. So select CRM and always allow. Now I'm in the project. So whatever now I'm going to discuss with Claude, everything is going to be inside the memory. When you go to the project here, on the right side, you can see instruction, whatever that we give, right? We can always modify it. That's another good thing. Like when you see some issues, you can always come back and modify the instruction so that it wouldn't repeat it again. And then here you can schedule tasks just like you would schedule normal tasks, but this is just going to be inside the project. Based on the schedule, it will do things for this project. And here you can see context, right? Context is something that these are like the files you have. You can always add here. You can add folders. You can add something from your drive. You can add links here, anything. Basically the resources that you want to add. And then one more thing is the memory here. So whenever you chat here, and let's say Claude is repeatedly doing something, the typical example would be the hyphen, right? The long hyphen. So you can just ask Claude this one. So you can just ask Claude to never do that. I will show it to you. So it's going to remember that. Whatever that you ask it to remember, it's just going to add it to the memory. I will show it to you in practice. Let's say I will just add some random documents from here. You can see whatever that I added here. You can see the file. You can always remove it, add something more. You can do many things like that, right? And one more thing, let's say I'm just going to have a conversation here. Of course, the topic is CRM and I added some mobile app development related documents. So it's not a big deal, but based on the document that I gave, it just went through the document and it is answering, right? Now, let's go back to our project here. You can see our conversation is being recorded here. So let's say you have hundreds of conversations regarding this project. Everything is going to be stored inside. So whenever you ask Claude next time, it will always have the access to these kind of history. And let's say I'm going to ask it to remember something. Hey, remember this project is about iOS apps only. I'm just triggering it, right? When I say, hey, remember, it's just a trigger for it to keep that stuff inside the memory. We can see it's just going to create a memory here from this one. You can see it created a memory, right? See, scope created a memory file and it noted down it's only about iOS apps. So you can even open this one. You can see from here inside the memory files, it just added this one, right? So I can always click it and edit as I want. But now you understand, whenever you ask it to remember, it's just going to add it to the memory. So all your projects are going to have 5 things. They are going to have chat history, and then they are going to have instructions. So it's just have the access to the history, and it's going to have instructions which is going to decide how Claude is going to behave, and it has scheduled tasks let's say you need to do some kind of automation inside your project and maintain certain things there. And then it's going to have context based on your documents, files, etc. And then it's just going to have a memory which it is going to remember whatever that you want it to remember. So that's the whole idea about the projects, and I would highly recommend you to always try to create a project and work inside that. It helps you a lot. So that's about it, and I'll see you in my next video with another concept.